looks like we're live. Getting started in a couple minutes. I should probably open up that giveaway since that link is up now. There we go, that should be good. You can head on over, bzpower.com/giveaway, and enter in that for a chance to win some fabulous prizes during our stream today. Hey there, Voximo. Yeah, I mean, last year I think it made sense for them to do Star Wars since it was like the 20th anniversary of the franchise. I think for the employee gifts, they usually try to make them thematic. Hey there, Vivel. Welcome, welcome. So obviously we'll talk a little bit about the theme they chose this year as we learn about it and build, because from the box it's not very obvious, but you might be able to get an idea from the name of the set, which you can see in the top left there. Alright, looks like it's 1 o'clock, so we're going to get started. So welcome everyone. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas, if that is what you celebrate. If not, hope you're enjoying the holiday season. Hopefully at least you got the day off yesterday, even if you didn't celebrate Christmas. And now we're here on Boxing Day, as it's known in some corners of the world. Yeah, just another Saturday for me really, but we're here to build this Lego set. So Lego was kind enough to send all of their Lego ambassadors the 2020 employee gift. This is, I want to say, like the 3rd year that they have been gracious enough to do that, and we're super thankful, super grateful that they decided to do that, and of course we want to share it with everyone here. So it's a lovely premium box, although it's got a not for sale sticker on it, which is probably for the best. Sometimes you kind of wish that they did that with more sets that made it out to the wild to avoid some of the scalping problems. But definitely a very festive themed box. You got like the pine trees, people wearing like the Santa hats. Well, they have some like hearts on here too, but some like presents that are gift wrapped and things like that. There's also a very clear Technic bend to it, right? We've got a bunch of gears on here. We've got some lift arms. You've got this, looks like a postage stamp. This is Mindstorms, 1998 in it. As your Mindstorms came out. On the top, we kind of got some of the same theming going on. Show that off the bottom. On the side here, I'm not sure how well it's going to show because it's so shiny, but it says 40 years of hands-on learning. Lego education. So this is actually the 40th anniversary of the founding of Lego education. So it's been 40 years since Lego education was established and 50 years since the introduction of the first universal Lego gear wheel. We mark this double anniversary with this special Lego education inspired model. So that's what we're celebrating. That's what we're building. You can see, it looks like we've kind of got a manufacturing line here of the elves of the North Pole. So we've got like a conveyor belt here, and we've got a couple elves working hard on making some presents. Got a little train here, and there's clearly some sort of gear mechanism. Discover all the mechanisms inside, so I'm definitely excited to discover all of that. So it looks like a really interesting set. That Christmas tree design looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to build for sure. Alright, what do we got going on? Oh, thank you for the subscription, Vivel. Is Tower of Orthanc Lord of the Rings? Yes, Tower of Orthanc is a Lord of the Rings set. Yeah, I feel like LEGO education isn't something that you hear about often because they're just kind of in the background. Oh, you can build with your phone. This is an interesting little insert here. Celebrating 40 years of hands-on learning. LEGO education was established in 1980. The ambitious goal of reimagining the way children learn. So this is really cool. There's like one of these classic things. I've gotten to see one of these in person once. Someone brought one to a LEGO convention, and it was like an interface for an old computer, which you can see over there, to allow them to control like motors and stuff and program with it on that computer. So that's certainly in a very 1980s. Kind of want to check out this QR code that has a little video, and then apparently you can use the LEGO building app to build this set on your phone. And they've got it in some other languages there. So here are the instructions, upside down. Oh, one of the instruction books. So I guess hopefully there's more in here for the different modules. And then we've got the bags. And quite a few bags in here. Oh, yep, there's the other instructions. That would have been awkward if only a few instruction books. Alright, let's... they even have a little diagram on the inside of the box here on how you can store the set, disassemble it and store it back in the box, which can be handy if you only want to bring it out at Christmas time. Alright, there's our box. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 bags. Ha ha ha. And lots of books. So it looks like there's no like specific order in the books necessarily, so they don't have like numbers on them. You can do each module separately and then you assemble them at the end, which is kind of a cool way to do it. Or if you want to share the set with your family and have a few people, can have up to 4 people building different modules and then bring it all together at the end. Gotta figure out, so if you open up the first couple pages, it says what bag to open, so it's kind of a giveaway as far as where they fall in the overall scheme. So we're gonna do them in bag order, just because that's easier. Hey there, Aaron, Grayson. No sticker sheet. Did not see a sticker sheet at all. Hey there, Max. All right. So starting with bag 1. Let's get our picture cam set up. And we can also turn off that giveaway link for now. right, and yeah, so we can show the back of the box so people can see what we're building there. So yeah, we're starting with the rightmost module. We're going to be working our way to the left. Oh, we've got a brick separator, of course. Those are very handy if you have any coffee mugs that need to get filled up. Need to make sure that green one is a little prominent there. It's one of the special ones. All right. So yeah, I hope everyone had a good Christmas, or at least the best Christmas you could, considering what 2020 has been like. I was fortunate enough, my parents only live about 45 minutes away or so, so I was able to go visit them. Yeah, we've all been quarantining and keeping separate and safe, so it's good to spend some time with them. And no one else. But yeah, if they had lived further away, like if I had had to fly, that would have been a non-starter for me. But hopefully everyone was able to do something for the holidays and not be all on their own. Alright, got our first Technic pieces coming in here. Let's start on the apparently very plentiful mechanisms that this set contains, which I'm certainly looking forward to. So you can see we've got a gearbox we're assembling already. Digging all of the dark tan pieces. Yeah, I'd say this probably isn't a set that if you got it, you'd want to get it just for the parts, but definitely nice having all the dark tan elements in here. Hey there, Mucus and Alex, welcome. Yeah, there have definitely been pictures of the set floating around. I know, obviously, like I said, all the LEGO ambassadors were lucky enough to get a copy of it, and they actually kind of put a little bit of an embargo on the ambassadors. They didn't want us sharing pictures of it until December 20th, which is fair. I mean, hey, I'm not going to complain about getting an awesome set like this, or any little inconveniences like that, but obviously LEGO employees got it before that, and they were under no such limitations, so I'm sure you probably saw the set popping up on like eBay and stuff like that a couple weeks ago before the holidays really hit, as all the scalper versions made it onto the internet, sadly. Hey, Dollar. This is interesting gear piece. I know it's been around for a little bit. I'm not sure if we've gotten it in black before. This is definitely the first time I think that I have gotten one of these pieces. But definitely very interesting, very curious to see how this gets used in the set. So when you think about it, there's LEGO employs a lot of people, right? You know, not just like the people who design the sets or design the elements. They also have like all these factories in like Hungary and Mexico, and China, and places, you know, all around the world. Those people are, you know, just happy to have a job for the most part, right? A lot of those places are somewhat economically depressed in some cases, or, you know, finding jobs is more difficult, and it's just a manufacturing job for them, right? It's not like, oh yeah, we're working for LEGO. And it's just like, oh, thank goodness I have a job. And so yeah, if you look on like Bricklink and eBay when these sets go up for sale, you'll see a lot of them are located, a lot of the sellers are located in those areas. From what I have heard, obviously I haven't seen this firsthand, but you know, people will go to the LEGO factories. You know, they kind of have figured out around when these sets start getting distributed, and they'll just stand in the parking lot, and as the employees leave for the day, they'll offer them like, you know, a couple $100 or something for the set or whatever, and they'll, you know, get a truckload full of them, go back to their Bricklink store or their eBay store or whatever, and, you know, list them for, you know, 2, 3, 4 times what they paid. And, you know, these are employees who are, you know, generally making, you know, not like the best money. And so this is like an extra Christmas bonus for them, right? Like, you know, an extra check that they get at the end of the year. And so yeah, I think for most of those people, getting that money is better than getting a cool LEGO set. All right, so you can see that we got those gears coming into play, and so they work pretty well, spinning around there. And you can see that these gears, put on the main camera, we'll try that. So yeah, these gears actually make this gear down here turn as well through this little right angle mechanism we got going on in the back. Yeah, I don't think I've ever looked at it like that, Grayson. That's a pretty good point, I guess. That yeah, it doesn't cost LEGO you know, that much more to make this set than it would any other set. You know, this is like what, 919 pieces. So, you know, this would be like $100 set or so if they were to sell it in stores. And you know that obviously LEGO has a high markup, so for LEGO to make it probably costs a lot less than that. And so yeah, they give, you know, maybe it costs them $50 to make the set, especially since it does have some unique printed parts and maybe some things that aren't as frequent or rare that add to the manufacturing costs. But still, it's fairly inexpensive relatively for them to make, and then yeah, the employees get to choose whether or not they want to build it and keep it, or if they want to sell it, and they can get, you know, 2-3 times that much for it. And while there are certainly instances of like Lego creating like limited sets that are really kind of upsetting to the fans, I don't think this is one of those cases where you can really make that argument, since this is literally just, you know, an employee gift and not like a Comic-Con exclusive kind of situation. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how much it costs Lego to make the set. Could be $50, could be less, but your point still stands for sure, Grayson. All right, so you've got a nice little fireplace going here. Cute little mantelpiece. Curious to see what that little notch is for, if anything. And obviously we're going to have some sort of gear mechanism in there. Almost done with the first bag. Alright, got some more gears going in here. There we go. Ooh. Definitely lots of gear mechanisms going in. Kind of hints at that on the box, like, hey, discover all the gear, or all the, you know, little play features this set has. Last bit is a little hand crank. Okay, and that is it for bag 1. So I'm going to go ahead and open up bag 2. And then we'll show off what we built in bag 1. So we've got a minifig here in bag 2. It's a little elf minifig. Oh, we got. Oh yeah, because we're building the tree in this bag. It's got a lot more of these sprocket gears. So here's, so far in bag 1. Doesn't look all that interesting from the outside, but there's a kind of nice fireplace going on. But from the back, there is a lot going on here. So we turn the crank. Right, it turns that gear, turns this gear, which is on another gear on the same axle as this big one, which turns this kind of center column, and that center column turns both the 6-tooth kind of like splat gear, I'll call it, which turns out there, and then also goes down through here into a little gearbox and turns that. So there's one crank, basically activating these two functions here. Plus it has, it goes out over to the next module. So this one crank will go through all 4 modules we're going to build and activate the mechanisms in all of them. So that's going to be pretty cool. Only comment so far is that the way the crank is designed, there is not going to be an easy way to attach like a power functions or powered up motor to this. Require like a little bit more retrofitting to make that happen. Although maybe on the other side, at the end of the chain, there will be a place to attach a motor. Wouldn't put it past the designers to be that smart. Well, that's good to hear, Dollar. Glad you enjoyed that. I would say make sure you post about that in one of the talkbacks and let us know, let Jason know, because that was all him, his idea, his implementation. All right, so we've got our first and I think only minifig in this set, little elf. I do like how they use the classic smiley face, kind of nice for a 40th anniversary set. Of course, 40 years ago. I think smiley faces were just I think those were the only minifig faces that they had back then. A little bit of printing on the back. And he is going on the mantelpiece here, which of course makes this an elf on a shelf. So that's what I was kind of sticking at before when I realized that. It's a very silly little mechanism or idea there. Bringing in a little bit of pop culture into the build. Well, we've got some orange Exoforce hands. If you're in Bionalug or part of our lug bulk order last year, you've got yourself some of those too. It was definitely a good buy. Now we're using the Exoforce hand. To make this little thing, which you're like, well, what is this? Well, this I believe is supposed to be an NXT, so one of the different Mindstorm's robotic bricks. And using the Exoforce hand there is like a little button that you press to turn it on and go through the programs. And so that is the reason that we put this little wall tile piece in here, so that you can put this up and the Exoforce hand actually goes into the wall, and this can go flat on there. So that's a cool little technique. So you got these big curved tiles, which I believe this is going to be a train track. Yeah, it looks like a train track. Looks like we're going to be making the train turn around under the tree. So it'll be a cool technique there. Or the tree is going to spin, something's going to be turning thanks to this. So it's kind of neat. We used a tile here, so we put this on top. This part can spin freely of this 8x8 round plate. And I put that on there. And that meshes with the gearbox underneath, so now when we turn, this thing spins around, but the plate on here does not. Hey, Brickus. The orange Exoforce hand is representing the button, or one of the main buttons on the NXT. So I think it was like the main power button or something. It has been a while since I've looked at an NXT, so don't precisely remember. But I'm sure you could look up the Mindstorms NXT and you could get an idea. Alright, so we're attaching our train. We're actually using a skeleton leg here. And that is going to clip on right there. And so now that's going to start spinning around. Looks like we're making a little train engine. There we go. Choo choo. Alright, now we're making the tree, which I think is going to be able to spin around. I don't know if the whole tree is going to spin or only parts of the trees are going to spin. So it's showing off those black 6-tooth, I'm calling them splat gears. I'm not sure what their technical term is, but we also have these guys in various sizes. They're almost reminiscent of some of the original Technic, or I don't even know if they're Technic back then, some of the original Lego gears in the kind of their style, the curvy nature of them. So it's kind of cool to see them bringing back that design. And I assume that these colors are probably exclusive for this set. One thing to note is that one of the gear teeth actually have this arrow on them, and that's on all of the gears that have that. And in this case, they are showing that in the instructions because that is going to come into play with this tree construction, it looks like, in making sure things line up properly, I guess, so that all of the functions function. Got to make sure that we have these arrows in the proper positions according to the instructions for whatever other parts of the build we're going to do. So someone who's built, I don't know, I guess quite a few of the winter village sets and various other seasonal sets. This is definitely one of the most interesting Christmas tree builds that I've come across so far. Certainly gets the idea across pretty effectively. With the added bonus of the function capability. Looks like we are just about done with bag number 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put up our giveaway link. If you have not entered, you can go ahead and do that. If you already have entered, you are good to go. We'll be picking our first winner shortly. Alright, so we're actually putting this tree we just built, which I really like. I wish it could have been like a little more slope, but obviously you only have 3 sizes of gears, so it does limit what they can do. We're putting it on this 4x4 turntable piece. So, see how that comes into play in a second. Alright, and that is it for bag 1, other than some Technic pins to install so you can attach it to the next module. Alright. Have an extra 1x2 plate. That does not seem right. Like, usually small little things like that, you don't have a lot of extras of. Ah, I missed one on the top of the NXT brick. Brick separator to the rescue. Alright, get all those extra parts out of here. Instruction book. Go ahead and open up bag number 3. We will show off our first module in action. And then we will do our giveaway. Alright. So here is the first module. Let's get rid of that picture for a second there. Alright, so we got a nice little Christmas tree, we've got the NXT and the elf on a shelf, little train, and most importantly, this little hand crank. So we turn the hand crank, so yeah, you can see the train spins in one direction and the tree spins in the other, in a slower rotation thanks to the gear ratios. So that's pretty awesome. Again, I wish that it was a little easier to motorize it off the bat, like it was just going to attach a motor here, because otherwise my hand's going to get tired doing this for too long. Alright, and yeah, that is achieved by all these gears in the back. I really like these, again, what I'm calling these splat gears, which are what turn the tree, since it's on this turntable base and can turn freely of the trunk of the tree, which is how the train is attached. And you can go both directions if you want your train to go backwards. Very awesome. All right. go ahead, turn off that giveaway link, and go ahead and pick our first winner for today. Vivel Madame, congratulations, you have won an Elite TIE Fighter Pilot buildable figure. So thank you for your subscription earlier, and congratulations on the win. You should be getting an email from me with a request for your mailing address so we can send you that prize. Alright, so yes, 1 module down, 3 to go. So next up, we're building this elf here. Apparently he's been working in the workshop for a while. He's got a gray beard and some hair there, and he looks like he's going to be hammering away with one arm and painting with another. So, oh, it looks like there's a clock in the background here that might be tick-tocking back and forth. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, oh, so I don't think I showed it off in the first instruction because I thought it was like a kind of basic thing. We're talking about gear wheels here. So there's a little bit of an educational bend to the instructions, explaining that gear wheels use teeth or cogs to interact with other gear wheels. That kind of explains what the mechanism does. And in this one, we're apparently going to be using some cams. So a cam is a rotating or sliding piece in a mechanical structure that transforms rotational motion into repetitive up and down or back and forth linear motion. So that's what we're going to do for the elf's arms and the pendulum in the clock. So it's cool. Each module not only has its own functions, but they kind of focus on a different mechanism to do so. All right, let's get our picture back. All right, our opening here seems very similar to the first one. Obviously, they're all going to be about the same size, although I'm not sure if it's the third or the fourth one that we're building that has the angle in it. One of them does, but for the most part, I think they're all going to have a fairly similar base, which is what allows them to attach to each other. Got some of the lovely new 1x3 jumpers there in brown. We've got some teal corner round tiles as well. And just combine the two and give us some teal 1x3 jumpers. I believe someone pointed out that those are coming. And hopefully we'll be able to get them in lug bulk this coming year. Seems like a very useful part. I mean, the 1x3 jumper in general is one of those like, man, why did it take LEGO so long? What justified the need to finally give us this lovely piece? got the beginnings of our mechanism coming together here. Popping out of the wall a little bit. Because I missed, is there another plate I needed to add? Ah. Don't skip steps, kids. There we go, so that goes up and down. Well, thanks for joining us while you could, Dollar. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I'm sure we'll see you on the streams in the future. Alright, mechanism number 2. Kind of like we're making like a marionette or something for this elf that we're building. It's going to be puppet dancing in our strings. Speaking of the elf, now it's time to start building them. It's kind of interesting. They look like they are more or less mini-land scale, but as you'll see in a sec, we're actually going to be using some Technic pieces to build parts of them. And like, you know, might have expected that for the arms, but it looks like the legs are going to be Technic as well. And if you're not familiar with what mini-land scale is, so that is you know, the scale of the figures that they use at the Legoland theme parks. So like the attraction at the theme parks is called Mini-Land, where they have different like recreations of actual buildings and stuff like that. Not quite in, you know, it's not minifigure scale. It's a slightly larger scale, and so to accommodate that, they kind of made their own scaled decision or scale design for the figures that inhabit that, and that's it's called Mini-Land scale. So. We're using some Technic here for their legs, which are going to dangle a little bit, but I assume once they're attached onto the base here, we're probably not going to see them move too much unless you really start shaking around the set. Alright, I get to start working on some of the mechanisms in the back that are going to activate the arms, and the clock is presumably as well. This good old Technic piece. I always think of this as a Hero Factory piece, because I think that was like the first sets I saw it in were Hero Factory sets. Although, you know, it's very possible it appeared in some other Technic sets around the same time, but I always remember them when they appeared in the Hero Factory theme. Alright, so here is the start of our mechanism. So you can see we're using that, what I call the Hero Factory piece, and a couple of cams here. They're at 90 degrees from each other, so as you spin this, they each push down on the two other Technic pieces at different times. And because of the different shapes, they hit them at kind of different intensities. So on the front, when we do that, you can see these two little things here kind of moving at different rates in different positions. That's going to be what causes the elf to work tirelessly on his toys. So that piece was from Hero Factory first, and the lovely brain attacks. That's lovely, I say. they were sets. There were some were better than others. I think we're about done with bag 3 here. I still have so many of those brains somewhere. That was one of the promotional giveaway sets, right, from like gift with purchase. You get a free brain attack poly bag. And I've got a whole bunch of those still sealed somewhere. It's like, what am I ever going to do with these? So bag 4, we're starting with the clock mechanism. We've got this little Technic piece. I believe this was first used in the Star Wars buildable figures for Kylo Ren's lightsaber, and has since made an appearance in many other sets. So here we've got these two white round bricks that are attached to the back of the pendulum here. And that is going to be, so when we spin this, it lifts it up just a little bit, and lifting that up is going to make the clock tick back and forth. I think that would be a whole lot of brain slugs that you would need to do that, but I assume they can't be like that expensive on Bricklink relatively, right? Like, who wants them? Maybe I'm missing something and they're in high demand, or just because not a lot of people hung on to them. End up like thrown away or something, so they're more rare, or just because they're so big they cost a lot. Although maybe someday we can have LEGO conventions again, and you can find a good deal on someone trying to offload them at the yard sale to LEGO convention. Ooh, did not get that on all the way. Well, we've got our first printed element, a little 2x2 round tile with a clock face on it. So although the clock is going to be ticking, talking back and forth, it's not going to be moving very far. Fill up a little shelf on the back here. I guess what are supposed to be some like bottles of paints or something. And so now kind of those tiles we were putting on earlier become a little more clear as to what they were. They're little paint spills. It's a messy elf. Just as I say that, the last bit of paint there, you can see they use a little tooth element to make it look like it's dripping, and then you can see the drip down below. Man, $10 for a sealed black brain slug. I don't know if that's the case. Maybe I have to find mine and some for $9. Because I'm sure, like I said, there's a lot of demand for them. Alright, now we're making the elf's head. I like the use of this little click hinge piece as the nose. And this is definitely a bit of a movement away from the Miniland style that I was talking about before. Now, according to the instructions, you're supposed to give him a cross-eyed look. He's been focusing way too long. Because a normal Miniland figure would not have the eye pieces. That's primarily because, you know, Miniland, when it first came out, like Legoland has been around, I want to say the first one opened in like the 70s. Obviously, Mixel eyes weren't a thing yet, so they had to do with the best they could with what they had. I do like the little frog as the tip of the hat there. NPU, as they say. Alright, so we've got the core of the elf. He still needs some arms, and he still needs something to be working on. So I think that's what we're going to go ahead and do now. there's our little table for the elf to work on. Now we gotta populate it with some projects. Trying to figure out what these little things that he's building and painting are supposed to be. Still not quite sure. Jury's still out here. That is clearly a hammer for his one arm, so whatever it is, he's hammering away at it. I think that clock is not ticking a whole lot. Do I have everything attached well? There we go. Just gotta do a little slower. All right. And there, we're almost done with our second module. Just gonna put our giveaway link up again. And when we're done with the second module, we're actually not going to go right on to the third one. We're going to take a quick little break and build something else. Nothing too amazing or anything, don't get very excited, but as I was going through my Lego closet, I came across a set that we'd gotten sent from Lego that I had not yet built yet. So we're going to go ahead and build that. It's just a little brickhead set. But a little diversion. Alright, so here is our finished module. Let's go ahead and turn off picture. So we got our cute little elf. He's got a hammer in one arm and a paint roller in the other. And he is working away, painting and hammering. It's pretty impressive that he can paint with one arm and hammer with the other. Although maybe that's why there's a mess, is that he's really not that good at doing both at once. So let's go ahead and connect these. Gotta make sure there we go. So now we've got 2 of our 4 modules. Gotta make sure I hold it in the right spot so you don't block the train. And I think you can see just with the 2 modules, this is going to be a very busy finished build when it's done. There's going to be a lot going on if this is just half of it so far. I can only imagine what the last 2 modules are going to do. Yeah, I think we'll pick our next winner now. And then build another set. A little intermission. Let's get that ready. All right, let's see who our next winner is going to be. Lord Oblivion, congratulations. You've won a K2SO buildable figure. We'll be getting in touch, verifying your address, and then getting you that prize. All right, so as you can see the top right, or top left, sorry, we moved that a little bit ago. This is the next set we're going to be building for our little intermission. The Monkey King Brickhead set. So yeah, 175 parts for 10 bucks. Seems like a pretty good deal. Got some interesting printed parts on the front there. Lots of cool curve slopes and quarter round tiles. Goes on his base. There he is in animated minifigure form. Oh, this is actually, I think the first time I've seen this on a Brickheads. I was expecting the bottom of the box to tab open, but there's actually a little piece of tape. Usually they reserve that for the larger sets, and the smaller ones just get punch tabs. Oh. All right. Simple instruction book. And 3 bags of parts. Like I said, nice little intermission. Ooh, a gold Nexonite shield. Had not seen that. And any of the box art and stuff, so it's a nice surprise there. Problem with these little sets is the instructions get so folded that then they don't want to stay open on you. Alright. Let's turn our picture back on there. I will say I'm seeing like a lot of different colors in here that are somewhat similar, and the instructions are not making it easy to tell the difference between the orange and the key orange and the red and the light brown or nougat, whatever color that is. In fact, I think I used the wrong color on that 1x2 plate already. I think that's supposed to be dark red. I don't know what colors do I have 1x2 plates in. Like, I mean, you told me what is, obviously from my camera over the internet it's gonna be hard to tell, but that certainly doesn't look like dark red. It looks like it could be, you know, brown, but there's no 1x2 plates in brown, so I assumed it was the nougat, but I think it is the dark red. I feel like it still has a lot of work to do on their instructions. I feel like they've been getting worse over the years. Especially the new 18 plus sets that are printed on black, with like a black background. Those are even harder to read. First printed part here, a little 1x4 brick with part of the Monkey King's robe on there. next printed part, another 1x4 brick with the top part of his chest. Looks like he's got like a kind of armored collar on there or something. This is some lovely drum lacquered gold Nexonite shields. Those are very pretty. And we also get some gold cheese slopes as well. If only all the gold could be drum lacquered gold. So we're building his arms here. Those Nexonite shields are becoming his shoulder pads. Thanks to Lego geometry, they line up perfectly with the plates here, and so we're going to be able to build right on top of those. And the 1x2 on the inside there will be covered, but the end will stick out and look pretty cool. Problem with moving the camera closer is that I knock into it all the time. And here goes the Monkey King's brain, little pink 2x2 brick. It's one of those little design details that goes all the way back to like the original brickheads, where they would put those 2x2 bricks in there for the brain. So one of those cute little things that, like, once you're done with the set and you display it, you know, no one knows, but from the builder's perspective, like, yep, I know. They did that cool thing in there. Oh, so that's interesting. He gets his own unique eyes on little normal gold, not drum lacquered, 1x1 round tiles, but they're actually print shiny gold on them, along with the white for the eyes. So you can see from the side maybe that it's normal Lego gold, not drum lacquered, but it's printed to make it look shinier. was kind of a nice combination where it keeps that classic Brickhead's aesthetic with the eye design, but fits the character with the new color. I love these quarter round tiles in theory, but in an effort to like make them easier to get on there with the tolerances, they do make it so they can like shift around a little bit. It can be a little annoying to make sure they are lined up perfectly. They're very finicky. Alright, so we've got our monkey face coming together there. Sides of his head now, filling them out. Building some monkey ears. Definitely like how those ears are turning out. It's kind of interesting that they've got parts at a couple of different depths here, because some of them are normal snot bricks, and some of these we use headlight bricks, which are inset a little further, so it kind of creates a different layering, which I think we're kind of like working on his fur or hair, so it makes a nice little effect there. Kind of an interesting look right now. He's got this like hollow section at the top of his head that I'm sure will be filling in with like his headdress. do the feet. At least here the dark red is a bit more apparent. Oh, he's got like a cape on his back with a little room for the monkey tail, which is what is next. Love those cute little details like that. I think like Rocket Raccoon had a cute little tail as well. But he was a smaller brickheads too, so. You still got that hollow front of his forehead there, even though we've got the hair coming together now. Oh, and as I say that, looks like the next step is going to help remedy that hole in his head. Line up those quarter round tiles decently enough. Flip that around. Attaches to that headlight, those headlight bricks. Lines up perfectly with the curved slopes there. Looks like it was designed that way, but you have some really nice depth in here as a result, like between the eyes and stuff, with how all those curved tiles kind of interact with one another. Looks really good. On that hair piece right there. Last drum lacquered gold. Here's this new Monkey Kid handle bar piece, lightsaber-ish hilt. Cool that we get it in gold again. Although I think we've only gotten it in gold and maybe like black so far. So I almost hope that we see it in other colors at some point. All right. And that just about does it for our Monkey Kid. So put out that giveaway link again. I wouldn't say it's common for them to be at angles like the hairpiece here, but it does happen. It does happen, just not like all the time. Yeah, so there is our monkey kid, or monkey king, sorry. I do like, there's definitely quite a bit to like. The torso, you know, the body, legs, arms, fairly standard, other than the cool little shoulder pads he's got going on there. But the head was pretty interesting, and I love all of those curve slopes and quarter round tiles that you get on there, and cheese slopes as well on the back, especially to make the Monkey King's head. While the 1x4 printed bricks maybe don't have a lot of other uses. I mean, I'm sure someone will come up with some original ways to make use of them, but I do like the eyes as far as printed parts go. Those are cool, and I'm sure those will be much more useful in other mocks and stuff. So yeah, but a very cool little set. So put them off to the side there, and get ready to pick our next winner, and then to go back to our main set of the day. All right. Paleo, congratulations, you've won a Baze Malbus buildable figure. So yeah, we'll be sending you an email, getting your address and sending that off. Hopefully the Postal Service is starting to catch up on that huge backlog I assume a lot of people saw that they were experiencing. I know some packages that I've been sending out have been getting very substantially delayed, so hopefully that's we're hitting the end of that, and you guys will be able to get your prizes in a quicker manner. All right, so here is the next module we're building. This one is at an angle, so it will be kind of interesting to see how they achieve that with some wedge plates and things like that. But obviously there's going to be some more stuff going on behind the scenes to get that, and we get to see what this elf is doing. Looks like probably handing the gifts off the conveyor belt to the one who's hammering away. Alright, so let's go ahead, open up bag 5. Alright, so here we've got universal joints are the key thing that they're showing off. Also known as cardan joints, these allow otherwise rigid drive shafts to go around a corner to create rotary motion. On this module allows the figure to move back and forth when the drive shaft is cranked. You can also see that we've got like a linear connection here that's going to be attached to the gear using what we now call the mixel joints, or the old style toe ball piece. So we'll get our picture-in-picture going again in a sec. Once I have some parts on here to be able to frame the build on. There we go. All right. You can see we started right away with a wedge plate here that I'm sure will be part of making that angle. So it's interesting when official LEGO sets build at interesting angles and stuff like that. I know so like the Ninjago sets have done that I've built to pretty great effect. Here we've got a hinge brick that I assume is going to be part of that process. It's also interesting that instead of Technic beams, we're using bricks that have the pin built in that will allow us to connect our multiple modules together. Alright, so here we have our two angles, and then thanks to the magic of the hinge brick, they're joined together. From the bottom, it kind of looks like a Star Destroyer. Then we're going to use some more hinge bricks to reinforce that connection across the length of it to make it nice and strong. Alright, so I've got 3 hinges in there, and yes, that's not wiggling anymore. It is going to be nice and sturdy, and once we cover the top with some more wedge plates, it just will not be going anywhere. Oh, and apparently I have to stand corrected. I was talking about these 1x2 bricks with the pins built in being what are going to connect to the other modules, but that is not the case. We do have our standard Technic beams that we've seen in the other 2 modules that are now going to attach to those pins. I guess that's going to give it kind of a unified look to all the other modules. Interesting. I'm pretty sure it would have been fine just to do it like they were, like it was, but they just kind of went the extra mile with the design. It's kind of interesting. We're building looks like one of the elf's feet here, part of their leg, before we build any other part of said elf. Little elf leg getting permanently attached there. Oh, now we're going to do the other one. Okay, so it looks like what we're building now is going to be part of the elf's body, but done in such a way that it can attach securely to the back wall there. So when the mechanism starts its thing, you don't have to worry about it falling apart. You can see we've got some more of these lovely 1x3 jumpers on this turntable piece. So we can attach that there. And this leg's a little unsturdy, but I think it'll be fine overall. You can see that while the base is firmly attached, the top half of the elf will be able to go back and forth. I think it's interesting how they're using these window pieces on the sides, both for structure and to allow openings, so you know all of the different mechanisms can kind of go between the modules. Moment when you realize you used the wrong color of 1x3 plate. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Or was that the wrong one? Is there another gray 1x3? Ah, there is another gray one. Okay, I didn't do wrong. I just couldn't find the part I was looking for. He says until it comes back to bite him again, another 3 steps. Just about done with bag 5 here. Hey, Ballum. So I think unlike most of the other modules, at the end of the first half, we do not have any mechanism in the back end. It is completely empty there. Although, like I was mentioning, we do have windows to allow it to connect the mechanisms to the other modules. We've got this opening here that goes out to the front that will probably connect to the body here and allow it to turn back and forth. Alright, it looks like we're starting bag 6 right in the Technic. Attaching that toe ball piece to one of these gears. Alright, mechanism is in progress. Oh, and here is our universal joint. Lovely, super expensive part for LEGO to make because of all of the complex molding that goes in to making that all in one shot, is my understanding. Very impressive. Alright, all of that goes in. Into place there. Some Technic pins. You can see that goes off to the side. Not quite doing much other than spinning right now, but still, that's something. Alright, now we get to make another Technic assembly for the other side. So it seems like this module is going to have the, I guess, least amount of functions in it, but it makes up for that by being like the most interesting design, by having that corner that it has to go around. Goes in. Now I got the fun task of lining up that universal joint and pushing that axle through there. Alright, so now, as we spin over here, it goes all the way onto the other side, thanks to our handy-dandy universal joint. And now, back to the front. Apparently they still want to make the set look pretty. I've got one of these lovely little pieces. This first appeared in Nexonites, where they made a launcher that could fire it. But of course, it also is a mixel joint or a toe ball piece that we're going to be connecting to this linkage here. And so attach the body, attach that to that gear there. So you can see on the gear, we've got this arm that attaches to it. It comes out there, so now when we spin, the body goes back and forth, but the legs stay still. So that's really cool. So let's take this off for a sec. So the arm has got this extra macaroni connector off the back of it. Ooh. Yeah, it causes me to break everything. All right, there we go. And so the little shelf there, you thought this was just a little decorative shelf with a candle on it, but it's got this 2x2 45 inverted slope there. So when this spins back and forth, the macaroni piece kind of travels along that and causes the arm to go from up to down, up to down, up to down. So that's pretty incredible. I did not see that part coming. So it definitely adds like another level to this build. It was very impressive. present that she's holding. Now for the other arm. Oh, now the present goes up and down, up and down. Alright, so she still needs a head. That'll probably be helpful. Using the same click hinge piece there for the nose. She's so good at her job, assuming it's a she. I could be wrong, that she can work with her eyes closed. Attaching a phone piece to the back of their hair. See, that's supposed to be like a bow or something. Tie it back. Little pointy ears. Attach that. Oh. There we go. Attach that on. Alright, now we just got, looks like one more little build to do, which I think is another little Lego education reference. I think this is one of like the robots from Boost, I want to say. Kind of interesting. Instead of using the normal hub piece this tire goes onto, we're just putting a 1x1 round plate in there. It's a little trickier to get seated than the normal hub piece, but it works. Attaches on there pretty well. That's about done. Before I forget, let's get that giveaway link back on for those who have not yet entered. Goes on there, and then there's also a little rat that goes in. That's one of the newer versions that has the printed eyes. It's a nice little touch there. Alright, and that is it for the third module. So I guess we'll show that off a little bit on its own. Screen there, and so as we turn that, you can see she's just kind of moving a package from one place to the other. And if we combine the axle didn't line up there. Pins a little bit lined. There we go. All right, now we're 75% of the way there. Oh, hope I'd spin in the right direction. And it is quite the active scene here. There's a lot going on. All right. Let's go for extra parts. Open up bag 7, our penultimate bag. For our last module, and we'll pick our next winner. Winner number 4 is going to be Voxumo. Congratulations. You've won a Baze Malbus buildable figure. We'll be getting in touch to ship that out to you. Congratulations. All right. There, so we can work on our next module. All right, in this one, we've got mechanical belts as the featured technique. A belt is a loop of flexible material that link 2 or more rotating shafts mechanically. There are 2 different belts in this module, one to give linear motion to the conveyor and the other to spin the governor device that regulates the relative speed. Interesting. Let's see how that works. All right, now we're back to the tried and true base design. It would seem like actually it's a little different than the other ones we've seen. Here's a nice Bionicle callback. Everyone remember this gear from the Bionicle action hero fighting figure game, whatever that was, from the Glatorian Arena. Little dials that they had on their back with those things printed. Alright, so let's get our picture back. what we're building here is supposed to be the newer, maybe the Spike Prime intelligent brick, and I guess is kind of controlling the conveyor belt, maybe. Maybe not. I'm not too sure, but it certainly looks like it is a reference to something in there. Alright, now time to start on our conveyor belt mechanism. Using that lovely Clitorian arena gear. I believe it was already in Technic sets before it came out in the Clitorian. That's just always what I associate it with, kind of like that other Hero Factory piece. Although in that case, apparently that was first released in Hero Factory, so. Alright, it spins. Doesn't do much else just yet, but hey, it's a start. Got some nice printed parts here, little caution tiles. Don't stick your fingers close to the conveyor belt. looks like we're just about done with bag 7. First bag for this module. And so one thing that's kind of interesting, well, we only have kind of the start of the conveyor belt here, is that while this is going to be what connects to the previous module, we do have an exposed connection here. So it's almost kind of like they're like, hey, here's the standard, now design your own modules and keep the chain going. So it makes me a little curious, one, like, are people going to design their own modules? I would love to see it. If some fans make their own additions to the chain, and I'd also be curious as like how many you could realistically attach before they would no longer function, especially if you designed it to run off of a motor. Alright, so we've got a lovely printed part, presumably I'd hope exclusive to this set, celebrating the 40 years of LEGO education, with a little Technic design for with the gear and the beams there. We've got something in this little box. I don't know if that's going to be string or rubber bands or what. And we've got some shred pieces. So we're starting out the last bag here by making the conveyor belt, which is going to have presents permanently attached to it. So just find all of our tread pieces there. We get a 2x2 jumper in teal, nice color there. We get the heart tile piece in gold. That's just normal like pearl gold, not the drum lacquered version. But still, I don't think I've seen that part in that color before. I'm sure it's been there because I doubt that they got a lot of new parts in this set. Other than like that printed one. Like using these 2 quarter round tiles as a bow there, that works pretty well. Oh, then our last present uses one of these new 2x4 bricks with the Technic axle holes in them. I believe it first appeared in the Spike Prime LEGO Education set. So it's kind of cool to see it here. I know they've been starting to make their way into other sets, but still, it's cool to see that. Alright, so our conveyor belt presence is done. And now we get to slide it through here and attach it. That is always the tricky part. There we go. Alright. All the presents can come out of the conveyor belt. Now we're building, it looks like the little, I guess, safety flap. Not sure what else you'd call that. Don't stick your hands back here thing. Kind of makes a cool effect since some presents push all 5 of the beams forward and some only push like 3 there. So it's kind of cute. You got little green and red, like, warning lights going in. safety first. Wonder if the set designer actually like went down to like one of the Lego warehouses to get a feel for all the safety mechanisms you need around all that equipment and such. Alright, time to open up a little cardboard box here, see what's inside. It looks like it's going to be some rubber bands. Or a rubber band. Building something here. I'm not quite sure what this is though, and why it needs a rubber band. Attaches onto here. It goes on this flywheel, which is connected to the conveyor belt. So that adds a lot of friction here, which I guess keeps this from going too fast, maybe? It does make for a cool effect when that spins around, I guess. Certainly interesting. Alright, I think the last detail is there's going to be a little elf hanging over the top there. Watching the other two work very hard. Alright. Since I think that's our last part of this build, I'm gonna go ahead and put that giveaway link back up one last time. So I've got one more giveaway to do. So I think this is supposed to be an entire little elf that's just kind of hanging on there. Looks kind of weird with the body shape and all that. But that just kind of hangs on the top there and kind of clips on with those things. I guess it's hands. And then we spin the presents out. Or I guess it's supposed to go the other way. I've been thinking of this the whole, is that he's building them, giving them to her, and she's putting them on the conveyor belt to take them away. That makes more sense. All right. Let's attach the last mechanism. There we go. All right. So here is their finished set. Got our inventory and the instructions, and that's it. So thanks to all of the Technic building, it is very solid. You can pick it up with one hand there, move it around, and then we can. Oh wow, and that. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more friction now with all those mechanisms, and I think the rubber band on the end there definitely adds some too. So let's see, putting it flat on the ground so I can get some better leverage on it. It's really loud. Oh, that's funny, little elf on here. Every now and then the presents going through the conveyor belt will hit it and it'll bounce around a little bit there. That is really awesome. And yeah, there's leaves the axle connection open there. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could rearrange these in just about any configuration you wanted. The only thing you'd have to change is move the little hand crank there. And from the back, there's a whole lot going on there with all those gears. Let's see if I can turn this. So yeah, I love that like each section kind of uses its own mechanism. You know, this one focuses on gears, this one on cams. This one's got like the universal joint and the little piston, not quite a piston. What's the term I'm thinking of, like a drive shaft or something there. And we've got the conveyor belt over here. So yeah, and yeah, and like once you kind of have the idea down, there's nothing stopping anyone from building their own module to connect onto it. I would love to see people making some more modules there and extending the assembly line. So it's really a lot of fun, really a lot of cool. Definitely an awesome celebration of 40 years of LEGO education. Oh, that is a problem. I've seen this on some other sets, is that they recently redesigned this piece here. And now the axle connector does not have as much friction on it as it used to. So it easily can slide off here. So if you're not too careful as you're spinning that around, what just happened to me can happen to you. Whee! And then yeah, of course, we also built our little Monkey King brickheads, a little diversion there, a little break in the process, and that was a fun little set. Definitely has some great parts. Love the drum lacquered Nexonite shields and cheese slopes. And of course the new kind of bar weapon piece. Definitely some nice medium orange, or whatever that color is, not medium orange. Dark orange? I think it's dark orange. Curved slopes and quarter round tiles and cheese slopes and plates, so definitely some great parts in there. And it's a cool little set that look good on display. Alright, so that is, I think, gonna wrap things up for today. Got one more giveaway to do. So let me go ahead and close off the entries. And find out who our final winner will be. Brickus, congratulations. You've won a Kylo Ren buildable figure. So we'll be getting in touch, as always, to get you your prize. Yes, that's, I think, going to wrap things up for today. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in. Not sure if we're going to be building next weekend or not. I think I've mentioned before that, we pretty much built all the sets LEGO has sent us. This was kind of an exception. Like I said, this was sent to all ambassadors and not really like out of a request or anything that we sent them. So definitely much appreciated. Thanks again to LEGO for sending me this set. It was definitely fantastic. Fantastic build, great display, and looks really cool. We did request the new Winter Village set, the Elf Clubhouse, but I think that's been on back order and out of stock and everything for so long that we had not received that quite yet from them. If that does show up at some point, we'll probably go ahead and build that. Otherwise, we'll be going into my personal stash. As you saw from the sets you could vote on when you're entering our giveaway, we'll be taking a look at all that to see what we should build next. But we may be slowing down our live builds a little bit until we get some new sets from LEGO to build. So yeah, thanks again, guys. Hope you all had a Merry Christmas or a nice Friday off, depending on your celebrations that you do this time of year. Since we won't be streaming next until 2021 for sure, unless you come by our Twitch Tuesday stream in a couple days. I hope everyone has a happy and healthy new year. Hopefully 2021 is a lot better than 2020 was. We did a lot of these live builds this year. I think we're probably pushing 40 live builds out of 52 weeks. So very impressive, but a lot of that was unfortunately because of the pandemic situation we were in. So hopefully next year, instead of doing so many live builds, we're going to be able to go to LEGO conventions again. I'd love to hang out with some of you guys in person. It's been too long, and actually show off some creations and do some more fun stuff in person. Fingers crossed that happens. I know we're not quite there yet with the vaccine, but hopefully as the 2021 progresses, things will get better and better. And I'm definitely very hopeful of that. So I keep saying so long, guys, and thanks, but I definitely mean the thanks. Appreciate everyone who tunes in to these streams and helps keep me going. If you guys didn't come in and chat and give us feedback, it wouldn't give me much of a reason to keep doing them. So definitely appreciate that. Thank you all for joining us today and through all of our streams we've done in 2021 or 2020, and here's to a better 2021. I'm gonna stop talking now before I keep going on too much. So we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.